Okay. This is the IBBC member introduction session, and we have people all over the world here at the moment. I'm in near London, and we have people in Erbil and people in Baghdad. And Hal, I think you may be in Erbil or somewhere like that. Just to say welcome, and we have three members who are going to talk to you about their business. The first one is Al-Burhan, who's operations director at Al-Burhan. Al-Burhan, as many of you know, is a diversified services company based in Baghdad and London, and they operate services from travel to security, very high-end VIP attention, accommodation, and expertise in Iraqi business contracts. So very broad. We'll hear from Abir in a moment. We have Aso Hussain, who's the general manager of London Sky, who's recently just joined IBBC. They're Erbil-based travel and hospitality business based in the KRI and also across the Middle East. And we have, last but not least, Hal Miran, who's founder and chief executive of MSelect. One or two of you may have met him in our Dubai conference. He was around. Basically, MSelect are very successful recruiters and HR outsourcing experts. They're based in Iraq with a great insight into Iraq's employment market. So you may want to quiz them about that later on. What we're going to do is I'm going to get everyone to introduce themselves, and then I'm going to ask them a little question about how they see Iraq and what their hopes are for Iraq. And then after that, we're going to have breakout rooms, which will enable you as the viewers to talk to each of the panelists here. And you'll be free to go and click in and click out and introduce yourself to each other. So it's a bit like a mini networking session at the end. And a conversational session. So hopefully you'll make the most of that and actually get to detail with the people. But first off, I'd very much like to introduce Al-Burhan, who runs the day-to-day operations of Al-Burhan Group and reports into Mr. Imad Burhan and the Al-Burhan Group board. He's responsible for the hundreds of staff at Al-Burhan and manages all their inner workings. So Abir, can I hand over to you?
Hi, good evening or good afternoon to everybody. I'm currently out in Baghdad at our facility in the Bayab airport, sitting out here in the lovely weather in our leisure center. So Al-Burhan Group, we've been operating in Iraq since the 1940s. Strong in 2003. We run a number of contracts with local partners here, international companies. We work with Serco, doing the air traffic control, G4S for the airport security. We also operate a whole holistic business center and conference business and accommodation center and life support facilities here in Baghdad Airport. So companies that wish to do business out Iraq. So we've partnered over the years with multiple companies. One of our newest ventures is we've got exclusivity for all the ground handling and fueling at Baghdad Airport with Menzies and Air BP. They utilize our services as Al-Burhan Group as a complete life support facility, and also enables them to cut business in a territory which is historically difficult to do business in. On top of that, we offer security services as well, because we have our own licensed security company with a fleet of B6 armored vehicles, and we've got our own fleet of helicopters for secure transports and also medevac services. We have a travel agency back in the UK to allow easy commercial flight bookings for IBBC Travel, which clicks in very nicely with our overall business. Then we've got our construction business, where we've got a precast concrete factory out in Kut and a railway sleeper factory. We manufacture our own sleepers over there. So we're involved in many sectors. Our main sector is supporting UK and foreign businesses that wish to get involved into Iraq, and guiding them from working right at the beginning of a contract through to also supporting them and enabling them to deliver their contracts. So in a nutshell, that's what we do.
Thank you very much, Abir. Really interesting and quite diverse. So I'm sure people want to have a conversation with you later. I noticed a number of members here, just to say hello, Riyadh, for example, and also to welcome Padre Hanley, who runs the Iraq Business News. So also a very good organization that you might want to deal with in terms of communications. I'd very much now like to introduce Aso Hussain, who is the General Manager of London Sky, Herbal-Based Travel Hospitality, and Asso, hello Asso, there you are. He has a BA and MA in English language and General Manager of London Sky, and he's been in the travel management business since 2019, and he's looking very much at the efficiency and managing overall operations of the company. So hello Asso, can I give the floor to you for 3 or 4 minutes? Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is Asso Sen, General Manager of London Sky Company. It's my pleasure to be with you. Hello, do you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you. Do speak up. Thank you.
Hold on 1 second. فايل أنا دشيت شيء هنا.
Very good. Okay, Asso, I think we could hear you.
Yeah, here we go. Thank you so much. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. I had some technical problem. Yeah, this is Asso Sen, London Sky, General Manager of London Sky Company. I have been in the business since early 2019. Our company deals more with the corporate clients in Iraq. Our services, including the travel management service, preparing flight ticket, accommodation, conferences, and meetings. The company is right now handling the travel management of more than 35 companies in Iraq. Our company is divided into 2 different departments, which is come to the operation department and the reservation department. So we are dealing with providing the travel management in Iraq for oil companies, NGOs, organizations in Iraq. And recently, with the COVID, we managed to have the flight support, charter support for the more than 25 charter support we did for the people who we brought back from either from Europe or UK or any other destination that they want to bring back home safely.
Thank you very much, Asso. Just out of interest, how is the market for you at the moment? Is it expanding well? Is it a confident market?
It's actually is starting to go with the normality again after COVID and after easing with the restrictions. But we were heavily impacted with the COVID actually previously. But at the moment, actually due to the COVID restrictions and vaccination, we are getting back to the normality. But still, the business is hugely impacted. As you know, travel management is always one of the business when it comes to a problem globally. For example, the tensions right now goes on between the Ukraine and Russia. Directly, our business gets affected at the very beginning of everything. So yeah, we'll be back to normality somehow, but not fully actually recovered at the moment.
Thank you very much. And finally, last but not least, is Al-Burhan. He's the founder of MSelect. And they're basically essentially a human resource agency, lots of workforce learning. And the interesting thing about Hal is that he's got a lot of insight into the market in Iraq, which I'm not sure he's going into big detail at the moment, but I think there may be some articles coming up in the future. Hal, look forward to hearing from all the things you do.
Thanks, Ashley. Hello, everyone. So I'm Hal. I'm the CEO and founder at MSelect. MSelect is a fully integrated staffing agency established in Iraq in 2012. We have four offices in the country and 3 outside. Our services, mainly we do recruitment, so that's both for locals and expats. We do outsourced services, so such as payroll. We currently have around 1,200 employees. We have a HR, a consultancy side for employment advice. We do business process outsourcing. So this is mainly for new market entrants who come and they can outsource entire functions to us, such as sales force or engineers, operations, where we take on the admin and the legal side of things. And we also have a learning and the development side of the business where we offer public and private courses. We have a huge range of courses, mostly international certified and mostly all taught by Iraqi trainers. We recently launched the country's first e-learning platform, offering cost-effective volume training And this year is our 10th year of operation, so it's a special year for us to be joining the IBBC. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Really interesting. And how just out of interest, you say you have a lot of recruiting going on. Are they largely Iraqi nationals, or how do you find the people?
Yes, it's mostly Iraqis. In some industries, especially oil and gas, there are restrictions and there's localization rules. So Iraqis, I mean, are encouraged by the government, unless there's a skill that's not available in Iraq. But we are pretty much, I mean, mostly just hiring Iraqis. You know, we do have some skills in Iraq that don't exist. So that's when we go expat.
Mm-hmm. And are you finding that the market's changing in any way? Is it shifting from oil and gas to, say, professional services? Is there any dynamic there you can indicate?
For sure, yeah, for sure. I mean, if you asked me this question a few years ago, actually, it would have been, you know, our jobs were mostly oil and gas. And I remember our website was just oil and gas. But now, actually, I don't think oil and gas is our biggest business area. FMCG is huge. Telecoms is huge. Some of our biggest clients are there. You know, so we see a trend. Some areas are not as fast as we thought it would be in terms of growth, such as IT, and then agriculture as well. Usually, these sectors in most countries are the biggest hirers. In Iraq, it's still developing, but as I said earlier, oil and gas is not the major, or not the biggest employer anymore. Not for us anyway.
Very interesting. I'm going to ask each of you, and I may as well start with you, Hal, as you're on. What are your hopes for the sector in Iraq that you're in, particularly and for Iraq generally? What would make your life better and easier and simpler? And how do you see things going?
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, you know, what would grow our business is if we have growth across all sectors, right? So that means a diversified economy. That's great for job seekers. That's great, you know, that's great for all businesses, and it's especially good for us. We also, you know, we want to see more of understanding and education in the HR function, especially amongst local employers, where maybe the value of HR as a function internally, you know, is not seen as valuable as other parts of the business. So there's still some education and learning involved there. We're seeing big growth in training. That's one of our largest streams of revenue at the moment, and it's the largest growing part of the business. I mean, you know, there's still a lot more, I think, in terms of the country that can happen. You know, more needs to be done from the government, initiatives on internships and programs, which will again kick off training in the workplace. And on the other side of things, you know, what we'd like is more from the job seekers as well. I mean, you know, we know there's a big unemployment issue in Iraq, but there's things that job seekers can do as well. You know, so a big part of our business as well is educating, and that's one of the reasons why we launched an e-learning platform, is to give everyone access to cost-effective courses and make yourself, you know, making job seeker valuable, and in order to find a job easier.
Very interesting. So you've got a solution to the issues from both the client and the applicant's point of view, and you're really keen on a diversified economy. So that's quite clear. Thank you very much indeed. Aso, for you, what would you want to see change for Iraq, and what the dynamics do you see?
Well, my huge respect.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Do you hear me now?
Hello?
Hear me now?
Yes.
First of all, actually, my huge respect goes to the MSelect company. They have been tremendously very effective. They have been supporting a lot of job seekers, actually finding their own way, which is amazing. Actually, what they are doing is outstanding, and they need to be supported as well. And they have been in top priority actually for job seekers around the Kurdistan region. My pleasure, Mr. Hab. Well, actually, the change we want to see in Iraq regarding travel management is we as a country, we suffer from not being at IATA membership. Since people are suffering, country is not in IATA membership due to the policies of Iraq, so still needs a lot of steps to be taken into consideration following the regulations and some implementations of some conditions by IATA to be accepted as IATA membership, the country. So we do have a lot of problems actually in the travel management due to the country is not being IATA membership. That's going to be the change I want to see in the future, the country to be in IATA membership marketing. So the problem here is due to the COVID at the moment. Let me give you a very, very simple example. At the moment, if somebody books a flight ticket at the moment, with the cancellation policy of the flight support that you have booked, it could be a non-refundable ticket or a non-refundable accommodation that you have already booked. When you get with the positive, then you will lose whatever you have booked. That's one of the biggest problem right now. The travel agencies are suffering with it, with the airlines. So yeah, this is what I want to see in the future, the country for the travel management to be in the IATA membership.
Thank you very much indeed. And Abir, hello, can we bring you back on again?
Back on.
Thanks a lot, Abir. Again, the same sort of question to you is what do you want to see change in Iraq, and any particular market dynamics you're picking up on that are interesting for us?
Well, mainly we work with companies that work within the government sector. Of course, we do with other businesses that deal with the private sector in Iraq, but mainly it's a government-orientated business. So from our standpoint, we want to see stability in government, because now we have a standpoint where we have a lot of limbos. People are making decisions within government. Ministers know that they're leaving. The department heads know that they're leaving. So we want to see a breakthrough from the election and have actual results of stable government for the next couple of years. That's what we're after most as a business. And I think a lot of the nature of Iraq is a lot of the employment, a lot of the work relates to government work. So we want to see stability within government. That will help a lot. That would help with other business. That will help with a lot of businesses. It'll flow through to a lot of sectors in Iraq. So that's our main worry right now and our main want in Iraq. And of course, there's other things within Iraq. We want to see a better educated workforce. We want, like MSelect mentioned, people able to get good jobs because they have the right qualifications. We need to see a better education system, a better quality of people in Iraq to get a larger diversity, which will help the whole country vastly. But in the short term, we want to see a stable government. In the long term, we want to see a far more educated and proactive workforce within Iraq.
Thank you. Now, the government is forming at the moment, and the last one was relatively stable. Are you optimistic about what's coming?
I'm more optimistic than I've ever been of any government that will be formed. So this is probably because of the protests, because of the the uprisings that happen in Iraq. More optimistic that this will be a far more stable government, and of course, there's less interference from Iran and external parties in Iraq now. So I am more optimistic. It won't, it's not the perfect solution and not the perfect government we'll have. That will maybe start to show up in about 10 or 15 years' time. But it's the best government I think we will get that we've had that we've ever had in Iraq in a democracy.
Well, that's pretty good. Plus, the oil price isn't too bad at the moment. So maybe there's a relative optimism around.
So that's absolutely to be.
Okay, so what I'm going to try and do now, as if I can get Agni and Emma to do, is everyone's going to go into breakout rooms. So the key panelists here, you have the option of able to talk to talk to anyone you want to. So hang on in there. And if you'd like to talk to Abir or Asso or Hal, you're more than welcome to directly in a breakout room. So can I ask Agni to guide us to that technical wizardry, and hopefully we'll go where we're going.